everyone who is affected by this as well, and take care of them and their families. As Mr. Merritt said just a few minutes ago, there have been 31 lives lost in line of duty. We ask that you be with those families and give them guidance as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Well, we're all doing our distancing. That's a good thing. We're looking into doing teleconference for next Tuesday. We'll see what we can get done on that. There's nobody that is in here for the visitors forum, but I'm any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Nobody's in here, so unless Roger, you have any comments? Okay. Angela, did you have anything that's not on the agenda you wanted to talk about? No? No. Well, you did once before,
probably,
so just checking.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not thinking something, but that's not really.
That's getting put on the spot, yeah. Well, got to make it interesting, right? All right, discuss and consider inter-precinct project schedule and staffing. I didn't bring the paperwork, but the grant is May 27th is the application date for the highway grant, and we're looking into that, and hopefully we'll get some more information for Tuesday's meeting, so we can talk about that. So, but anything else that you want to discuss?
Need to get into that grant.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Absolutely.
I think we're all hauling millies from Hermley Monday, right?
Okay.
I do want to thank the court for letting me close that road out down there. We're making double the progress that we would have made, and we're not having to run to get out of the dang truck's way. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Looks good too on that there.
It is looking, thank you. It is looking good. For an idiot leading the pack.
I don't know about that.
We'll talk about that.
All right, we'll move on to court to discuss and consider extending, continuing, or renewing the Stay Home, Stay Safe order for Scurry County executed on March 27th, 2020 for a period of no more than 30 days pursuant to Texas Government Code 418.108. All right, as you know, the governor this week has issued his own order, which is really close to what we have. We allow a few more businesses in our order than the governor does. He clarified churches are allowed to have services as long as they follow the CDC guidelines and whatnot, and they are allowed to do church service where everybody stays in their vehicles and things like that. So that is one clarification that he put out that's different than ours. So of course, with something like that, the governor's order trumps our order. So if we left it in place, we would know, if we left that specific part in place on our order, we would know that the governor's order supersedes and everybody would go by the governor's order. So, and there is an AG clarification on the governor's order out that if anybody has any questions, they can look at that as well. So, talked to Dr. Cooper, our local health authority, and his initial thought was 3 weeks on the order. The governor's order goes through April 30th. Dr. Cooper still said 3 weeks, so he would suggest another 2 weeks on this, but there's, we can do this however y'all want to do. If you want to do a week and come back and meet, or if you want to do 2 weeks and come back and meet, or if you want to do a month, just know that the governor's order is still in place and it will remain in place. And if we don't have our order in place, the governor's order is still in place. Pretty much everything that's in our order will apply, except for some of the ones that we added into our order If we just do ours for 2 weeks and we don't extend it after that, then some of those businesses that we allow to be open won't be allowed to be open under the governor's order. Okay, does that make sense?
I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
When you bring up business, and I'm not trying to shut anybody down,
Sure.
don't get me wrong. Does Walmart and I think probably the grocery store does shut down sometime,
They close in the evening, yes, sir.
okay. Does Walmart shut down sometime?
They do. They've changed their hours to 8:30. They close at 8:30 in the evening, and then I think they open at 7 in the morning.
Okay. I just wondered how in the world you could possibly try to clean it up just a little bit. before-
Right, and that's what they do when they're closed. They
I
are,
figured they had to do something, but
Yes,
I hadn't been out there and don't wanna go and get trampled, so.
right. I talked to the manager at Walmart this week, as a matter of fact, and, they're getting guidance from, their corporate on things that they should do, and they're doing, everything that they can
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Just when you got people standing around on your toes, it's hard to do anything.
Sure. And what we're asking everybody to self-police, and Walmart is self-policing as much as they can. They're doing a great job on trying to get people not to gather up.
Good.
That's the biggest thing that we're trying to get people to understand is don't take your whole family into the grocery store or into Walmart. One person go.
Yeah.
Just one person. You don't have to take everybody in there. And they have it's a guidance, I think. It's not a policy that Walmart has. They're not enforcing it. One person, one cart.
Yeah.
So one person goes in for the family, not the whole family.
Right.
And don't, when you get in there, don't socialize, don't get in groups. If you're gonna talk to somebody, do your social distancing.
Right.
And when I go into some of these stores, I'm doing my social distancing. I'm trying to stay away from everybody, but I'm still seeing clumps of people.
Right.
I think there are some that are not taking this as seriously as some others are. Yes, ma'am.
On the press conference yesterday, the presidential press conference with the task force, Dr. Burks actually was pleading with the American people to please follow the social distancing. They're trying to, get the curve down, get that slope down. And some of the areas, they're still peaking, they're still going up. And she said that's because people are not taking this seriously.
Right.
There's some that are flat, some places that are staying low, and that's the ones who are really doing a good job at it. And then there are some that are not. They're continuing to rise.
Right.
And those are the areas, because they put that in place already now, 17 days ago, the ones that are being hospitalized right now, it was due to, I was already in those orders. So they should have already been social distancing, and you should already start seeing that cut back. And so she was actually pleading on the press conference, because I watch them every time live. I don't like to watch the news because they change it up. I watch it live so I can hear straight from the horse's mouth what they say. And they're pleading people to follow this. And like, I went to United and I seen the store is doing an excellent job. They're announcing over the intercom every 15 minutes or so for the cashiers to stop what they're doing and sanitize their workstation. And they have plexiglass up at their registers. They have the stuff on the floor. They're doing a great job. But around the meat container back in the meat market, there's people leaning on it, looking down, visiting around. I was like, I'm not buying any meat today. But people really do need to take it very seriously. Just because we don't have any confirmed cases here doesn't mean that we don't have any cases here. They've said that most people are going to be asymptomatic. You can have it and you can be carrying it. You don't have any idea, and you can pass it on to somebody else just because you're not following the social distancing guidelines. And that's one of the governors who now is going to be a new hotspot. He just put in lockdown on his state, and it's because they weren't following social distancing. And he said he did not know that people could be asymptomatic, although I don't know how, because it's been in every press conference. But maybe people don't understand that. So you can have it and be carrying it and not be sick, but you can make others sick. So anybody's watching, please follow the social distancing.
Absolutely. And one thing that I was really trying to press in the Q&A last night that we did was, you may catch it and you might not get any symptoms, but you can certainly pass it on to someone who doesn't have as strong an immune system as you do, and they could get really sick or could die from it.
And-
It's extremely contagious. It's a whole lot more contagious than the flu.
And these people who are getting it that are show signs
Mhm.
and are suffering from it, they are alone. They have
Mhm.
to be at the hospital alone. They are alone. And if they are succumbing to it, they are dying alone.
Mhm.
So, I mean, maybe that's what it's going to take to get some people to like put it through their head. I've watched videos of nurses and doctors crying and pleading and stuff, and it's very heart wrenching to me. So it's real. They really need to take it
Sure.
to heart.
The wife, a good friend of the daughter's, is a head, for lack of a better word, head duck
Mhm.
down at one of these prisons, ladies' prisons.
Mhm.
And she's head of several of them at one time. I don't understand that, but anyway, she had called, and of course, she loved the show, wife loved the show, and building 500 masks
Mhm.
for them nurses out of them prisons down there. I can't imagine why the state ain't already have something like that. But
Yeah, they're going in every direction they can get to get masks. I'm hearing a lot of those, a lot of places that are making masks. They're changing from what they're doing to making masks. So, a lot of people that just are making masks.
well, I wouldn't think you could wear one just a few days before you had to do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are guidelines on cleaning it and all that too that are out. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
There's also locally DNA custom engraving here locally
Mhm.
is making the shields, the medical shields, the plastic
Yeah.
shields, and they have it on their website and their Facebook page. I mean, obviously it costs because they're using a 3D printer and stuff
Right.
like that, but you can go in and you can donate to buy 5, 1, whatever, and it goes straight to our front lines, our frontline hospital. So
Okay.
that's
That's great.
available too.
You can also donate your clear plastic bottles, because they're making those masks with those clear plastic bottles when they don't have other ways of doing it.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to this. What do y'all think you want to do on this order? Do you want to go a week? Do you want to go 2 weeks? Do you want to match it with governors? How would y'all?
Just for clarification for those that will be watching or are watching, I'm sure there are some that are asking the question, if the governor has put in place for the entire state, why do counties have to continue to have their own disaster in place, policy in place? And of course, I'm assuming it's because of FEMA. You've got to have that, keep
Sure.
that in place in order to get that reimbursement.
Yeah, that's a big part of it is the FEMA reimbursement, but it's also, there are some minor differences. So, we allow clothing stores, and I don't think the governor's order allows clothing stores. And the reason I put that in there was, not so people can go spend an hour and a half and go shopping and try different clothes on and all that. It was so, if you blow out your shoes, that's your only pair of shoes. You've got to get shoes. So that's kind of where that guidance was on, or the thinking was on that. But that's the biggest aspect of it is for the FEMA, and that's
so
that disaster declaration as well.
with his, if his order supersedes the county's order, clothing stores can't be open any longer.
They can, and now it supersedes in certain areas. So it's kind of, the wording is such that there are some areas that we can be more restrictive of, other areas that we can't.
Yes, okay,
So
makes sense.
you're welcome.
Well, I don't mind meeting once a week, but what do y'all think?
I'm good with every 3 weeks. It doesn't, I mean, I think we have to meet. The judge can always call a meeting for some reason. But that's whatever y'all think. I don't mind meeting every week. I have no problem.
Minded, but every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks?
Well,
Be fine.
due to the way our next commissioner's court's gonna fall, we probably better do it 2 weeks this time in order to get, because we meet next Tuesday, correct?
Right.
And
The next time.
then the next
Sure,
time,
yeah.
Can you make it like a 2.5 weeks to make it
Where it
to
falls on
until
our
the 21st, so it'll fall on the regular session day? And then that way you have court and you'll extend vote on this too at that same time?
Yeah.
it will do something along them lines, we can do it during our regular commissioner.
That's good.
So it'd be April 21st.
Okay.
I guess you need a motion to
Yes, sir.
make a motion to extend the disaster declaration for Scurry County till April 21st, at which time it will be looked at again. Is that right? The 21st.
Second.
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Okay. Do you have any line item transfers or budget amendments?
Don't have any for
No?
today.
No
I'll do it
accounts
all on
payable or
Tuesday.
anything? Okay. All right, I guess we'll adjourn.
You guys don't make a motion to adjourn?
All in favor? Thank you, appreciate y'all doing this, and, we're looking at, doing the teleconference for the next meeting. Hoping we can have it in place, but no guarantees. So if we do, if we have to meet again, we'll do it similar to this. Try to keep it short. I think we got 15 minutes in today, so, thank you guys and ladies.
Judge, do you already have an agenda for Tuesday's meeting?
I'm working on that, yes. It's just me, myself, and I in there, just the three of us, and so, I'm working on it. I will get it out today though, for sure.
Okay,
I just haven't had an opportunity to finish it up. I'm really close.
all right. Sounds good. We would like to get that advance for that in our weekend paper.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I will, email it to you. I'm gonna try to get it done before 11.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay.